It is now my great pleasure to bestow onto Manfred Kets de Vries on November 13th, 2008, the ILA Lifetime Leadership Achievement Award, and to induct him into the ILA Leadership Legacy Program. So Manfred, would you please step forward? The ILA Lifetime Achievement Award is in gratitude for your tremendous work in advancing the field of leadership. Much of your work has been done through your research and through your many articles, chapters, and book. So in recognition of all that you have done to advance the field of leadership, we present to you a pewter plate. And there is something more that you have given, and that is to all of the individuals whose lives you have touched. So in recognition for this gift of legacy, for the gift of relationships that will continue on and on, we present to you testimonials that have been presented and written to you today. On behalf of the ILA, we present to you the ILA Lifetime Achievement Award and these many testimonials that'll keep, we hope, that you will take and share and read for many, many years to come. So thank you so much. Thank you.
You know, when I was, flying over from Paris to Los Angeles, I was reading Obama's book, Dreams for My Father. And I was, one thing, of course, everyone in Europe was very interested in what was happening in America, since it has such an influence in the rest of the world as far as leadership is concerned. And in it I found a dream. You know, as a psychoanalyst, I get very interested. It was a dream. The book must be named after this dream. The dream was about this young man who was trying to find himself and meeting this kind of distant, faraway father in Kenya. And it was a dream of identity, a man in search of identity, of diversity, prophecy, and basically having a mission in life. And it's interesting, last night I had a dream, and the dream was, I dreamt I was in the Harvard Business School, in the yard. I was walking there, and there I walked up to a man, and he smiled at me. And it was a man called Roland Christensen, usually called Chris. Chris was the most gifted teacher at Harvard Business School. He was a legend. And he was one of my thesis advisors. And he said something like, when you have a turtle, when you find a turtle on a fence post, you realize he didn't come there alone. And that, I think I want to say that, what my work, I always see my work as a person on the boundaries of different fields and as a translator. And it's thanks to other people like Selesnik, Levinson, and Elliot Jakes, who really have made the foundation of the field I'm really now probably one of the better known advocates of. And when I look at my life, I see actually 4 patterns. One was really the confusion pattern, where I was totally confused. I was trying, like the dream of Obama, when he was totally confused about what he wanted to be. I was totally confused where I want to go, what I wanted to be, and that lasted for some time. The next one was really and that I think Laurent referred to, the pathology phase, when I became a psychoanalyst, and you read lots of sick stories. I mean, I would say welcome the neurosis. Normal people are boring, actually. Normopaths. You have normopaths, psychopaths, sociopaths, but normopaths is probably the worst group. I like people who are a little bit crazy. I welcome the craziness in you. Anyhow, that was my period that I was becoming very crazy, because, and it culminated really, there was some closure when I wrote a book called The Neurotic Organization, which still is rather a seminal book, where I tried to find the linkage between personality, leadership style, and the kind of organizational culture and the kind of organization people would create. But it was a funny book, because I wrote it with was a doctoral student of mine too, Danny Miller, who is quite well known now, in 1 month. I remember that. There was no email in those days. So he lived at night, I lived in the day. We wrote 24 hours a day. So that was my pathology phase. The next phase was really the consulting clinical phase. I started to work with patients, which was quite exciting when you have your first patient on the couch and listen to stories. You know. And that's really one of the main things of my work, listening to stories and understanding stories. Then I went into the institutional phase. So this around 5 years ago, I was asked by one of the deans that INSEAD had not enough leadership, that we should set up a leadership center. So, and remarkably enough, in a very short time, we have built up, probably was one of the largest leadership coaching organizations in the world. And it has been an incredible amount of synergy because my consulting seminar, they went together. And that period in time, we started to do more and more work with top executive teams. I run a CEO seminar since 18 years, and that's what's been my laboratory, where I really learned, what are the main things people think about. Actually, I'm coming out with a book called Sex, Money, Happiness and Death. So those are some of the things people they think about, by the way. I had a very bad accident in May, in the mountains of Kamchatka, high in the mountains, which I should actually be dead. And I was thinking about it. Most of the people who get the award are actually, not most, but some of them are. Bernie is no longer with us, and I think he was a great contributor. It wouldn't be more romantic if I died eaten by bears on top of the mountain, as opposed to probably in a hospital bed somewhere. It's rather boring. And that was a very good probability, but it didn't happen. So I'm now a twice-born person, to quote William James. And now I'm probably again in my identity crisis and thinking about Chris walking in the Harvard Business School square there and saying, you'll find a way. So I'm trying to find that way now. What is the best way I can use the kind of energy I have? And listening to me rambling around. Thank you very much.